In a world that often misunderstands what it does not know, there lived a young man named Ifakunle, a final year university student with a good heart, a sharp mind, and a strong belief in the traditions of his ancestors. He wore his Ifa and Orisha beads with quiet pride, and while others rushed through life, Ifakunle moved with calm confidence, the kind that comes from a deep connection to something greater. One afternoon, while sitting under a mango tree near the faculty building, he overheard a conversation. A group of students were discussing who would contest for the upcoming student union government elections. "We need someone new," one of them said. "Someone bold," another student suddenly suggested. "What about Ifakunle? He's smart and disciplined." Laughter erupted. "Ifakunle," a girl sneered. "You mean the traditionalist? That one that's always talking about Ifa and ancestors? I beg. We don't want a ritualist ruling our school. Next thing, we'll be sacrificing chickens in the SUG office." The group burst into cruel laughter, and Ifakunle, who had been listening silently from behind the tree, quietly picked up his books and walked away. Their words cut deep. They didn't see the devotion in his spirituality, only the fear of what they didn't understand. That night, Ifakunle could barely sleep. He stared at the ceiling of his room, the ceiling fan humming softly above him. His thoughts louder than anything else. Should I still run? Am I truly alone on this path? By morning, he had made a decision. Ifakunle packed a small bag and took a bus out of town and made his way to his hometown to see his Ifa priest. The temple was quiet when he arrived. Palm fronds danced lightly in the wind, and the scent of herbs hung in the air. Ifakunle greeted the priest and knelt before him, his eyes filled with uncertainty. "Baba," he said, "I am very disheartened. My schoolmates, they laugh at me. They call me names. They say I shouldn't even dream of leading them because of the way I live. Because I follow the way of our ancestors." The old Ifa priest looked at him with kind eyes and nodded. Without speaking, he reached for his divination tool called Opele and cast it lightly on the mat before him. The sacred Oduifa Oyekumeji was revealed. The priest closed his eyes and opened it back slowly. "Oyekumeji, Ifa says you walk through doubt, but you will rise. Your victory will come, not through argument or anger, but through light and humility. Do not fight with them. Show them your heart. Listen to what the holy Odufa Oyekumeji says. Ifa says, Koko igi monisaga, Adifa fún oyin abo fún àdó. Ìgbà tí wọ́n tọrùn bọ̀ wálé ayé, ẹbọ làwọn ní kí wọ́n mú ṣe. Wọ́n rúbọ, ẹbọ wọn dà, wọ́n yin awo, awo yin Ifá, oyin o, àdó ń kùn. Ẹ ò rí pé ilé awo rere kì í gbófo. Ifa says, you have a lot of followers behind you. But Ifa says you should make sacrifices. Ifakunle listened. His heart still heavy, but he believed in the words of Ifa. He believed in the interpretation of his Ifa priest. He performed the required sacrifices and returned to school. As the campaign season rolled in, Ifakunle did not print posters or hold rallies. Instead, he greeted everyone he met with kindness. He helped juniors with assignments. He volunteered to sweep the class when no one else would. Yet, most students still ignored him, their hearts still hardened by misunderstanding and ignorance. But Ifakunle did not stop. On the morning of the election, he did something unexpected. He walked into the faculty hall, carrying crates of chilled soft drinks and bottled water. He began to hand them out one by one. "To thank you," he said simply, "for letting me share this space with you." At first, they were hesitant. Some even stared at him suspiciously. But slowly, hands began to reach out. Smiles returned. Conversation started. A girl he had once overheard laughing at him took a bottle and whispered, "Thank you, Ifakunle." He nodded and smiled. By the afternoon, voting had ended. Students gathered around the notice board, anxious. When the results were announced, the crowd went silent for a moment. The winner of the 2025 SUG election, Ifakunle Adegbite. Then came the explosion of cheers. "Ifakunle, Ifakunle, our leader, our great leader," they began to chant. The same students who had once mocked him now lifted him into the air, chanting his name. As they carried him, Ifakunle looked up at the sky. The wind swept softly across his face, and in that moment, he remembered the calm words of his Ifa priest. "Oyekumeji," he murmured, grinning. Truly, the dawn comes after the darkness. From that day forward, Ifakunle led with wisdom, compassion, and strength. He taught the students not only with words, but by example, showing them that there was no shame in tradition and that faith, when paired with humility, could move even the hardest heart. And so, the boy they once laughed at became the leader they admired, not by changing who he was, but by standing firm on it.